Hello everyone. I Ankita Bawane, an assistant professor in Tulsiramji Gaikwad Patil College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur, conducting the presentation for MBA second semester for the academic year 22-23. Welcome back to today's presentation on standard costing. In this presentation, we will explore what standard costing is, why it's important, and how it's used in businesses to streamline operation, cost controls, and make an informed decision. So, let's get started. These are the main component of our today's presentation. First of all, we will start by introducing the standard costing. Then we have discussed the objective of standard costing. Then after we have the types of standard. Then we will analyze the advantages and disadvantages of standard costing. And last, I'll provide the conclusion of our today's presentation. Standard costing is a sophisticated technique under which the costs are decided in advance and the actual costs are compared with such a standard cost. Causes of variation, especially the unfavorable ones, are analysis and appropriate corrective measure are initiated so as to have the optimum efficiency in production. According to Chartered Institute of Management Accountant London has defined the standard costing as the preparation and use of standard cost, their comparison with the actual cost, and the analysis of variation to their causes and point of incidence. So it is very important here. The broad objective of standard costing are summarized. The first one is promoting and measuring efficiency. Standard costing, beside enhancing the competence and performance, also acts as a tool to measure them. If the actual cost happen to be less than the standard cost, it indicates the efficiency and competency. On the other hand, if the actual cost happen to be more than the standard cost, it is an indicative of the inefficiency and incompetency. Then the next one is controlling and reducing cost. While computing the standard cost, appropriate provision are made with regard to normal wastage, normal breakdown, normal idle capacity, normal mistake, etc. So this exercise ensure the proper monitoring as well as reduction in the cost. Next, simplifying the costing procedure. The exercise of standard costing is invariably specific to a product or a process or a job. For every product or a process or a job, a separate exercise of standard costing is required to be undertaken. So this is generally done by the professional after having a through discussion with the management and the technical specialist. Next, valuing inventory. Undertaking the valuation exercise is a respect of stock and issue of material on the basis of the standard cost result in substantial saving of time and energy in the maintenance of the store ledgers. Computation of stock on the basis of standard cost is done by multiplication of the quantity of stock in the hand with the standard cost. And the last, fixing selling price. Selling price of a product may be fixed either on the basis of actual cost or on the basis of standard cost. It has been experienced that due to various reasons there are a lot of fluctuation in actual cost, and as such the selling price cannot be fixed on the basis of actual cost. So because of a price of a product need to be generally stable and not volatile. Next, types of standards. So a brief description in respect of each type of standard is furnished. So the first one is based on period of operation. The first one is current standard. Current standard are those standards which are prescribed and fixed for the current period, and they are indicator of the expected level of performance under the existing condition. Next, basic standards. Basic standard by the name itself indicate, are the fundamental standard which do not undergo any change for a fairly long period of time. Because of this feature, they are also referred to as the Bogus standard. Next, normal standards. Normal standards are the most common average standards. They are considered to be the facilitator of the long-term planning and decision making. Generally, one trade cycle is covered by such standard. Next, based on tightness and looseness. In based on tightness and looseness, the first is strict or tight or idle standard. Such type of standards also refers to as the perfect or maximum efficiency standard, are a symbolic of absolute minimum cost, and they are achievable under the operating condition. Next, expected or attainable standard. So attainable standard are those which are considered realistic and achieve with a fair level of effort, as their foundation is on a practical concern, and they are also referred to as the expected or a practical standard. Next, other category. So in other category, the first is loose or a lax standards. These are the standard which are intentionally fix a mark less than a normal efficiency grade with a view to displaying the positive picture of the variation. It is a sort of window dressing and which is implemented under the presumption that the favorable variation may positive the worker. Next, revised standard. Revised standard are those standard which are subjected to frequent changes in order to keep moving with the flow of changing circumstances. The underlying premises of revised standard is that a coordination are dynamic in nature, and with a view to remain related with them, it is necessary to keep changing the standard. Next, historical standard. Historical standard are an average standard accomplished sometime in the past. As far as the controlling is concerned, they are the little use. They may contain the efficiency of the past, and they are however useful at the outlet of the creation of standard costing. Next, we have the advantages of standard costing. The first one is measuring efficiency. Standard costing may be used as a measuring tool for the management to measure efficiency. The difference between actual cost and standard cost reflect the level of the performance of different cost center. Next, formulation of production and price policy. Creation of production policies is facilitated by the standard costing. On the basis of the prevailing condition, the standard costs are fixed. Next, we have the determination of the variance. Variance are determined by comparing actual cost and standard cost. Such a variation brings core area of incompetence, and which turn enable the management to fix staff accountability for inefficiency. Next, reduction of work. Under the historical costing, a number of records are required to be regulated for the determination of cost, whereas under the standard costing, minimal records are required to be maintained, resulting in the reduction of clerical job to great extent. Next, we have the management by exception. A system which is envisages that every individual should be given a target to be achieved within a defined time frame. It's referred to as the management by exception. Day-to-day supervision of the various activities and individual performance is not required under this system. Next, facilitate cost control. The twin objective of any costing system is a cost control and cost reduction. Both the objectives are achieved in the system of standard costing. The standards are scrutinized and analysis on an ongoing basis with a view to have further improvement in efficiency. Next, eliminating inefficiencies. There is a different manner in which standards are set for manufacturing, administrative, and selling expenses. Improvised technique are applied for setting the above standard. For example, a standard for manufacturing. These are the disadvantages or a limitation of standard costing. The first one is fixation of standard. Fixation of realistic standard during the introduction of standard costing system is an extremely significant and challenging job. A wrong assessment of standard may lead to faulty system. Next, frequent technology alteration. Some of the industries are known for a frequent technological alteration. Introduction of standard costing system in such a industries may prove to be costly affair. Next, expensive technique. Uh, the expenses involved in setting up and continuing the system of standard costing are quite heavy and difficult. Next, fixation of responsibility. In case of MLAPS, the job of fixing staff accountability is a difficult one. In case of standard costing system, such accountability can be fixed only for the controllable variances and not for the uncontrollable variances. And the last, analysis of historical events. Variance analysis involves the analysis of historical events which cannot be changed as such it is of limited use. Last, we have a conclusion. Throughout the session, we have concluded the stated objective highlight the purpose of employing standard costing within an organization. So this objective often revolve around achieving cost control, performance measurement and decision making improvement. Next, by implementing standard costing, companies aim to streamline their operations and enhance their competitiveness. Next, the content offer a comprehensive overview of standard costing covering its introduction, objectives, types of standards, advantages and disadvantages. That's all from my side. Thank you for watching.